some insight.
say to them, let's take them through somewhere else, because they came in from over there.
What's that, Dave? I thought he was going to roll it right over. Much of the manoeuvrability of this particular aircraft is owed centrally to what we call the semi-rigid titanium head. And that is quite fundamental, because without that, then they wouldn't be able to put it through the manoeuvres that are, I hope, certainly interesting you and capturing your attention here at the moment. Most other helicopters, of course, have fairly floppy blades and unable to do this sort of work. So going straight in now for a nose up, nose down, 90 up, and then push the cyclic fully forward, come all the other way, and all the blood now rushing into the head. Mr. Kildee, one of our many warrant officers flying helicopters in the Army Air Corps.
And a quick quote from Frederick Forsyth, the great author: "It's a fool of a nation that doesn't honour its veterans and revere its saviours. Through its long career, the Avro Vulcan was both. At the height of the Cold War, through the most dangerous years, 1956 to 69, it stayed silent and invisible, patrolling the perimeters of hostile airspace. When tensions were at their highest, Vulcan held the line, saying by its presence to any aggressor, 'Don't even try it.' And they didn't." So, here she is. She left the Air Force in 1993. It took until 2007 to get her flying again, and yet she went onto the display circuit in 2008. She's been with us ever since, which an awful lot of people thought would never happen. So, at the right-hand end of the runway, poised and ready to go, she's now rolling. Huge electric systems and big generators on each engine. He's in charge of all that stuff. In operational mode, she would have had two navigators as well, a navigator plotter and a navigator radar, but they did away with those, and that partly accounted for the 10-ton reduction in weight on this aircraft from what she weighed when she was in operational service. So there's the huge bomb bay. Imagine 21 1,000 bombs in there. Closing up. So 1993, she left the RAF, gone out of operational service quite a bit before, but had stayed on as a display aircraft, this very aircraft. And nobody thought we'd ever see a Vulcan fly again, except for a few people. Look at that angle of bank, look at that light. Final fly past coming in from the right, speeding up to 300 knots, 345 miles an hour. Actually, I don't think she is speeding in.
not a washing machine.
No, that wouldn't be something like this.
No, I mean it is seriously hygiene plus and minus. Now, Mark has been one of the most accomplished air display performers. He's been flying aerobatics for the last 34 years. 30 years, he's performed a wide range of aircraft, jets, dimension biplanes. So the next display, on behalf of the United States Navy and the Boeing Company, the F-18F, the Super Hornet, powered by General Electric engines, shortly to get airborne. This aircraft performing at air dominance weapons load, i.e. it's got 8 air-to-air missiles on board, including AIM-120, AMRAAM and Sidewinders, lining up and taking off with full afterburner. The grunt supplied by General Electric. They're the F414, the GE400 turbofans, kicking the afterburner, over 22,000 pounds of thrust. And you're going to hear that very shortly. Twin-engine, multi-role, combat-proven strike fighter, built by Boeing Company. Super Hornet is the United States Navy first stealth strike fighter equipped with the new radar, the Airshow radar. It has a joint helmet-mounted cueing system, advanced avionics. It can complete a whole spectrum of missions in all weather and light. Spanish Navy, and again it's wonderful to see this classic site, and indeed the lease of life has been extended on the AV-8Bs in the Spanish Navy for many more years to come.
Yeah, the Spanish government found about 70 million euros down the back of the sofa. And, so they've given it to the Spanish Navy, and it's going to extend the operational life of this aircraft out to out to 2025.
Of course, it grew out of a prototype project in October 1960. The Royal Air Force had the GR7s, no longer. And here comes from the Spanish Navy. Short roll. Harrier gets airborne. Very much on engine-borne flight at the moment on Wingwalkers. Forward and getting more forward airspeed. The lift starts to form on the wing, and therefore you go on to wing-borne flight, but obviously on a short. Now, as the Anson comes into land, we have a scheduled break here. This is the time that you can go and get some water, have a little walk around, have a breather. Cheers, mate, holding up your water. Mine, coffee, and alcohol, that's great. The red arrow's due on at time 5:08. Now, you all turned up anticipating hail and rain and horrible weather, and we weren't anticipating actually putting out messages about dehydration and sunburn. However, the weather, the British weather, has done exactly what it often does. You will be getting dehydrated out on an airfield, a lot of fresh air and the sun. Please drink plenty of water, and indeed, when you get home tonight, you will be suffering dehydration, you might not even know it. So a really good swig of water tonight will make you feel an awful lot better when you wake up in the morning and after suntan, a bit of suntan cream. And I have to say that because we have a visitation of the middle.
1405 and that's XH558. Just had the pleasure of speaking with ex-Vulcan pilots. Great shot, thank you. I think it's the first proper selfie with the plane in the background we've had all day. Loads of pictures, just hang on a minute. There's a blankie in action at Zolak Jags, having an amazing time at Farnborough. Fantastic. And good to see the younger ones with the ear protectors on. I've got those planes, especially the F-18. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. And one more.
Business perspective, we've had the orders for 496 aircraft worth $74 billion. That's a fantastic success story for the UK.
Fantastic. Jeremy.
On that microphone you didn't yesterday, but I think you've probably learned because you're a fighter pilot ace. Squadron leader Mike Ling, the Red Arrows.
Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm Squadron Leader Mike Ling. I'm Red 10, the supervisor with the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows, who you can see are just lining up on the runway for a display takeoff. And listen in for Red 1.
Thanks very much for waiting, Farnborough. The weather's lovely and I'm really looking forward to a great show. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Red check. Delay takeoff coming left. 6. 9 radio. 9. Smoke. Lights off go. Power. Concentrate.
Red 1 welcoming everybody here to the Farnborough International Air Show. The 9 headlights come on, all 9 Rolls-Royce outdoor engines, power up to full power. The front 3 aircraft, Reds 1, 2 and 3, reduce the power a little bit, directly behind Reds 4 and 5, and at the very back Reds 6, 7, 8 and 9. They release the brakes immediately. 1 second later, Reds 4 and 5 roll. 2.5 seconds, Reds 6 to 9. Those engines now accelerate the aircraft. They're already doing around 100 miles an hour, and they'll be lifting off at about 150 miles an hour. Red, white and green. If we can please have a big round of applause as they show you Phoenix. First of our 2 first-year pilots for this year. He's Red 2 pilot. He then went on to fly the Tornado GR4 operationally. Out to the right, the team have formed our trademark shape, and in true 70s style, all 9 jets will now smoke in the diamond roll. Loop. Pulling up at 4G at 400 miles an hour. The shape starts to change again as they reach the top of this loop at 6,000 feet or a mile above us. You'll see Reds 2, 3 to 4G as they show us Feathered Arrow, which is a bit of a mouthful, so we call it Fred. That's the end of the first half of the Red Arrows display, ladies and gentlemen. So far, you've seen the Hawk and the Harrier before joining the Red Arrows. Ladies and gentlemen, red 6, 7 and 8 with their heart and spin. Left and right again, the synchro pair are now going to be coming back to...
And here comes this wonderful, wonderful height of luxury transatlantic airliner, the Super Constellation.
This one's been too loud, you might be alright. You might be alright.
Here at Airfield on the 6th of June, D-Day. X, X, X,